Greetings, Vinyl community. It's David Michael. I'm back with part two to my year in review 2016. So cheers, everyone. This is my first year in review covered metal and hard rock albums that I had found over 2016. And this is going to cover some of my favorite just kind of rock and everything else finds from this past year. There's going to be two garage sales that I reference throughout this video, and one was from a gentleman who I don't know who he is, but he had a mega awesome garage sale. And one was from a fellow YouTuber who I kind of know from the record fair circuit. I encourage you to look him up on YouTube, Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. He had a, for lack of a better term, garage sale, but I think he was thinning out some of his stuff that he had, so it was really good stuff. And if there's any comments to make, I'll make them quick because there's quite a bit. So this is some of my favorite finds from 2016. I got a promo Tears for Fears album, selected cuts. This went to retail and radio only, and it's kind of selected cuts from their first two albums. I had been looking for this for quite a while, and I had found that at the Calgary Spring 2016 fair. This next one is Bjorn, Benny, Agnetha, and Frida, and unto itself, it's not the most spectacular find on first look. I like ABBA. They're fine with me. If you don't, that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. This is not their best ever album, but what's neat about this is called Ring Ring. This was, like I said, at Goodwill for $1. It's the very first pressing from Sweden, where they're from, on Polar Records. And for value and for, if we're going to throw that into the mix, for value and for rarity, it's quite an interesting find, and it's worth a few bucks. So like I said, it's not the best thing they've ever put out, but for rarity, that was one hell of a nice find. This is from a garage sale a gentleman had, and the selection he had, it was pretty much all vinyl, some music instruments, turntables, stuff like that. And his records were incredible, and the prices were insane. I wish I knew his name, but I don't, sadly. He has it every couple years. But this is where I got this one from. It's a super disc version of Who Are You? And this was $5. And the thing about the vinyl at his garage sale, it was all pretty much pristine. It was amazing. So I got that at that garage sale. This is a sampler, or a promo-only sampler called U2 Pop Mart Sampler. Although everyone hates that album, U2 Pop, I really like that album. It's a double promo album with remixes, B-sides from that album. So yeah, very excited to find that one. I found a copy of U2 Achtung Baby. This is from a local seller. Has the uncensored sleeve, as you can tell by the willy hanging out there. You don't come across these very often, at least not in my city. This is the first time I've seen it, an original pressing in my hands locally. So the local seller gave me a really good deal on this one. So that was exciting. A 2-for-1 for you. And if I can bunch these into groups, I will, just to save you time. Tyrannosaurus Rex, or as they later became T-Rex. These are two original pressings, Canadian pressings on Blue Thumb. Beard of Stars is on Blue Thumb Polydor. That's an original Canadian pressing. And this is an original Blue Thumb pressing from the US, actually, of Unicorn. This one was from the Calgary Record Fair in spring 2016. And the Beard of Stars, I believe, was from our record fair. In my city. Trapeze. For some reason Rory Gallagher is running through my head. Trapeze, when Glenn Hughes should be running through my head. This was from a record store locally that was closing down. And it got to the point where they were kind of slashing their prices half and then 75% off. And I got this at half price. Trapeze, You Are The Music, We're Just The Band. If you don't know Trapeze, Glenn Hughes, that you might know from Deep Purple, was in Trapeze at this time, and Dave Holland. who went on to be in Judas Priest, among other bands, who's now in prison. He was in Trapeze. So I'm a massive Glenn Hughes fan, so that was an exciting find for me. I'm going to do a 3-for-1 for you. 2016 found me finding 3 promo Bruce Springsteen albums. Now, these aren't just promo copies of studio albums. These are promo samplers. This is a promo sampler from Born in the USA. It's, 5 songs? Unique cover to that one. This is a sampler from the live box set. It's 8 tracks in total. And Bruce Springsteen as requested around the world. This went to radio and retail only, and it's kind of like a full best of at the time, up to, is it Born to Run? Or it might be The River, actually. Might be up to The River. Excuse me if I'm wrong. But that's what it is. It's kind of like a greatest hits sampler for retail and radio. This was from the Edmonton Spring 2016 Record Fair. I found an original pressing of this. Pearl Jam 10. I posted this when I found it at the fair on the YouTube vinyl community that I'm on Facebook. Because it was so unbelievable. I found this for $10 in absolutely stunning condition. If you know Pearl Jam, you'll know how expensive an original pressing is. So that was incredibly exciting, as my wife is a big Pearl Jam fan, so it's something that I can play and we can both enjoy. I found a copy of Masters of Reality. This is their second album. This one was on Def Jam. It's a gold stamp promo, if you can see that there. Masters of Reality. Their first album had Ginger Baker on it from Cream. An amazing album. This one, I don't know if it's as good as the first album, but to find an original pressing on Def Jam, for me, I've been looking for this for a long time. It's still a stunning album. If you don't know them, please investigate Masters of Reality. I'm going to do a quick 3-for-1. 3 original Kinks albums. These are original Canadian pressings from Allied Records in Canada, who distributed Pi Records. Most of these are original mono pressings. This was off a local classified ad for a guy who was selling some records on a turntable. And I asked him, I just wanted the records. I didn't know what they were. But it paid off because I went and met him, and he was selling some of his dad's records. An original pressing of Kinda Kinks. An original pressing of King Size. As you can see, there's the Canadian Allied label who distributed Pi Records at the time, I believe. And Kinks Controversy. So that was an exciting find. I'm going to do a little 2-for-1 for you. After years of not seeing any Lenny Kravitz vinyl in the wild, because you just don't see them, at least not in my parts, I found a copy of Let Love Rule and a copy of Are You Gonna Go My Way? So after years of looking, I find 2 in 1 year. Another 2-for-1, Luscious Jackson. I'd been looking for this one forever. This was on Grand Royal Records, and this one wasn't. This was their first. I guess it's a full album. It's 7 songs, but this wasn't quite as polished as their second album was. It's much more of a hip hop kind of vibe to it. A little bit dirtier album. In Search of Manny. Absolutely love this album, and I found this one. And then I found this one, Natural Ingredients, a more polished pop. Some of these songs were on popular soundtracks in the day. And I'm a big fan of Luscious Jackson. From that garage sale that I found The Who, that super disc version of The Who, I found the original Polydor pressing of Free, Fire and Water. This was a Goodwill find for $1. A Nod is as Good as a Wink by The Faces. This is an original Olive logo Warner copy. An original pressing of The Doors on Gold Electra label. which really, I think this is just more to kind of say I have an original pressing of the Doors, because in my experience, the gold label pressings of Elektra records, they're not the greatest. I personally find the Butterfly label, Elektra, vinyl to sound a lot better, and that's my opinion. Some people agree with me, some people don't. But like I said, finding an original Doors album, that was pretty exciting. For playability, I much prefer the later Doors pressings, but I found that one. Excuse me. Overall, this is probably my most exciting find, because I had been looking for this, and it was kind of those things I just never thought I'd ever get. I have several copies of the Canadian reissue of this after rumors came out and everyone wanted anything Fleetwood Mac. I found an original Polydor pressing of Buckingham Nicks, and I have to label it because, like I said, I have many pressings of the Canadian reissue of this one. But original pressing, and this has to rank up there with one of my most exciting finds of the year, and it's in absolutely beautiful condition as well. From the, once again, back to the Spring Calgary Record Fair, 2016. This was sealed, Dred Zeppelin, unleaded. Once again, another album I never ever thought, like a lot of these, I never thought I'd ever have on vinyl, and it was sealed, and the seller didn't really seem to care too much about it, so I think it was $10. Dred Zeppelin, if you don't know, in the 90s, they were this great reggae band that did Zeppelin covers with a huge Elvis impersonator. Fantastic stuff. In future albums, they got a bit tired sounding, because how many times can you repeat that formula? But this one in particular, unleaded, fantastic album. Found this in Vancouver this year. Beastie Boys, Some Old Bullshit. The only Beastie Boys album I did not have, and I found that at a local store. That escapes my mind at the moment in Vancouver. From our local record fair here in Spring, David Bowie's Toy, the unreleased album. Obviously it's a bootleg, and it's an incredibly good bootleg. You would never know there's proper Columbia labels on this thing. So it's a very good quality bootleg. This is an unreleased album he did that never saw the light of day, that's been heavily bootlegged. A lot of these songs have gone on to be on other albums he did, or B-sides, or rarities compilations. But as a full album, it was really exciting to find the full album as he had made it. The Beatles' Hard Day's Night, which isn't spectacular unto itself, kind of like the ABBA I showed you. This is an Asian pressing that, it's an original Asian pressing. You can tell by the matrix numbers, but an exact listing for this album I cannot find, and I've thrown it out to Beatles circles and collectors, and they're still trying to figure out where this pressing comes from, particularly, or where it falls into the pantheon of Hard Day's Night pressings. But it absolutely stunning condition. Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, some of the EMI countries listed in the back here. Regardless of when it's from or where it's from, it's a beautiful condition copy, and that was Goodwill, believe it or not. An original pressing of Hawkwind, Warriors on the Edge of Time. This is one, I'm not going to take it out and unfold it. It's the original pressing that folds out and has pockets in it, and the liner notes go in the pockets. I like this one so much that I sold my my repress of this one that came out recently. So if I find original Hawkwinds, I will gladly get rid of the represses I do have to only have one nice copy, and that is one nice copy I have of this one. I'm going to save this one to last, because it's up there with the Buckingham Nicks as my most exciting finds of the year. Colosseum Valentine Suites. This was a Goodwill find. I'm kind of over the shock of it now, because this was quite early in 2016. This is original Vertigo swirl pressing. I'm not going to take it out of the sleeve, as I don't want to play around with it right now. But once again, one of those albums I never thought I'd ever own, and there it was at Goodwill in beautiful condition. So, and I love this album. If you have not heard Colosseum, progressive rock with some jazz influence, and later on they really heavied up the jazz sound. This one really kind of falls in league with the progressive rock, little bit of psych and jazz thing they were doing at the time. This was a recent find at a local store, King Crimson, Lark's Tongue and Aspic. It's a promotional only, not promotional only, but this copy is a promo copy that went to radio. As you can tell by the stickers, there's suggested songs that they want radio to play. So really nice condition copy of that. An original pressing of Caravan in the land of grey and pink. Sorry. Original UK pressing. Beggar's Opera. This is an original vertical swirl. This one was at that garage sale. This was $5 or $10. I can't remember what it was exactly. It's an original pressing that folds out into an 8-panel big fold out of this cover here, in beautiful condition. Another Beggar's Opera I found is an original Verve pressing of Act 1. And as you can tell, I kind of pulled my rock, and now we're kind of into the progressive rock psych shelf that I was pulling from. From the Calgary Record Fair, 2016, a nice red label early pressing of Love Forever Changes. Really nice sounding copy. And from Dots and Loop Vinyl Records, I got a copy of Da Capo by Love from him. Cleaned it up, and it's a very, very nice pressing. So thank you once again, Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. From that garage sale that I was telling you about, when I got the Beggar's Opera and the Who, and this ranks up there with one of my best finds. This was $10. I want to say $5. I can't remember. This was a few months back now. Mobile Fidelity pressing of Dark Side of the Moon in stunning condition. I have several other pressings of this album, and this by far craps on all those other ones. If you have this pressing, you might know. And if you've heard a better one, I want to hear it, because this one is insanely good. So that was one of my best finds of the year. Found this in Vancouver, an original pressing of Quartermass on Harvest Records, progressive rock band. I have since found a sealed copy of the reissue with a different cover that I had found at that garage sale with the Pink Floyd. But to find an original pressing on Harvest Records, that was quite exciting. Really great album, Quartermass. Edgar Broughton Band, Wassa Wassa. I had been after this forever. Incredibly good, hard, progressive psych band. Really good. If you've not heard Wassa Wassa by the Edgar Broughton Band, do yourself a favor, have a listen. These two come from the aforementioned Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. Please look his channel up. I've learned a lot from his videos about psych and other things. He fills in a lot of gaps of knowledge that I don't have for certain areas. But a copy of Clearlight I got from him. Now this is a repress on Sundays, which is fine by me. It's in really nice condition repress. Really good psych, fuzz guitar stuff. Really good album. And I also got a copy of Black Pearl, an original pressing on Atlantic. Once again, a really good kind of hard psych rock album. Those two albums, I walked into his garage sale, and there was a couple things I'd expressed interest in. And he said, I got a couple things for you. And he just picked some things out for me, and he goes, you're going to love these. And he was right. He picked out, the stuff he did pick out was fantastic. Okay, I'm going to save probably the best for last. This and the Buckingham Nicks. I have this one double bag, so I'm going to take one bag off. It has nudity, but we've all seen this album cover, so I don't think I'm shocking anyone here. I found a very, very early Polydor pressing of Jimi Hendrix Experience Electric Ladyland. And I don't think I'm shocking anyone by showing you this cover. We've all seen it. Double album, UK pressing. This was from the Calgary Record Fair. And the seller I've only ever seen these at record fairs. You don't see them very often. I don't really see them at used record stores or offered for sale. I don't personally. The copies I do see at record fairs, they're usually asking way too much money for questionable quality ones. 150, 200 plus dollars. The seller I know, super nice guy, and this is a stunning, clean version of Electric Ladyland, and he gave me such a good price on this that I'll forever be in debt to him. It was with the Buckingham Nicks, one of those kind of holy grails to actually own this album, and there it was. So he hooked me up with at least half the price it should have went for. So that's one of those good karma moments where I feel like I try to do good things for people and good things come back, and this is a case where something good came back to me. There you have it. I'm done. So that was what I considered some of my best finds of rock and in that field anyways from 2016. If you made it through my video, thank you very much. If you liked anything, leave it in the comments. If you didn't like something, keep it to yourself. Kidding. So yeah, 2016 was a great year, and judging by some of your videos, it was great for you as well. So have a great rest of the holiday season. I'm sure I might have another video before Christmas with some finds, but if not, once again, have a great holiday season. This is David Michael from the Vinyl Community. Take care, everyone.